Welcome to this video. Before we start this super scary story, I want you to relax. Put on your headphones. Close your eyes. Let's start. My name is Theodore Porter, and I've spent most of my life exploring the past. I'm a historian, but not the kind who studies kings and wars. I'm interested in forgotten places, untold stories, and the secrets history tries to hide. Years ago, I had a good job, a steady position at a respected university, but I ruined it. I discovered a scandal about a powerful family and published my findings. I thought people would care about the truth, but they didn't. The family used their power to destroy me. I lost my job, my reputation, and the respect of my colleagues. Through it all, my wife, Eleanor, supported me. She warned me not to dig too deeply, but I didn't listen. Then, 3 years ago, I lost her too. She died in a car accident because I was late to pick her up. I was too caught up in my work, and she paid the price. Since then, I've been working as a freelance historian, taking whatever jobs I can find. It's lonely work, but I feel more at ease with the dead than the living. The dead don't judge you. When I was asked to investigate St. Marcellus Convent, it seemed like just another job. The Sisters of Divine Vigilance were a small 19th century order that disappeared without a trace. But the more I read, the more it seemed like their story held something darker. The night before my trip, I packed my bag while thinking about the convent. Its history was full of strange gaps. Some said the sisters were holy, while others whispered about dark secrets, cruelty, corruption, even witchcraft. Every clue I found seemed to stop suddenly, like someone had hidden the truth. The historian who hired me sent a warning in his letter. "Be careful," he wrote. "Some secrets are heavy, Theodore. You might not want to carry them." At the time, I thought he was being dramatic. Now, as the rain started tapping on my window, I wasn't so sure. I told myself it was just another job, a chance to explore an old building and uncover a forgotten story. Still, I couldn't shake the nervous feeling. For a moment, as I looked out into the dark, I thought I saw someone standing near the trees. They were still and silent, but when I blinked, they were gone. I laughed at myself, brushing it off as my imagination. But a small part of me wondered if the historian was right. What if there really was something about this convent that wasn't meant to be uncovered? I pushed the thought aside, zipped my bag, and sat by the window. The rain grew louder, hitting the glass like tiny hammers. Whatever was waiting at St. Marcellus, I would find out soon enough. The rain was relentless as I approached St. Marcellus Convent, the road slick and dangerous under my tires. The old building appeared from the mist like a ghost, its tall spire cutting through the gloomy sky. This wasn't just a research trip. It felt like I was stepping into a story full of shadows, trying to uncover the secrets of a long-lost religious order. The Sisters of Divine Vigilance had disappeared from history, leaving behind only whispers of scandal and violence. At the gate, Sister Agnes greeted me with the warmth of a stone. She was tall, stiff, and her cold blue eyes seemed to look straight through me. Her black habit made her seem like part of the storm. "You must be Mr. Porter," she said, her voice sharp and unfriendly. "We expected you earlier." I mumbled an apology, but she didn't respond. She turned and led me into the convent without another word. The hallways were narrow, lined with portraits of serious-looking nuns. Candles flickered on the walls, their shadows dancing in strange shapes. "Your room is at the end of the hall," Agnes said, handing me a heavy iron key. "Do not wander after dark. This place is unkind to those who disobey." Her words sent a shiver through me, but I was too tired to think much about it. My room was simple: bare stone walls, a small bed, and a crucifix hanging above. The storm outside made it hard to sleep, and my mind was full of questions. Around midnight, I heard footsteps in the hallway. They were slow and steady, stopping right outside my door. I held my breath, listening, but then they moved on, fading into silence. The next morning, the convent felt strangely quiet. At breakfast, Sister Agnes explained the rules. No photos, no questions about the sisters' practices, and I was not allowed in the restricted archives. She gave me a long, hard look, as if daring me to break the rules. I spent the day exploring. The chapel was grand but cold, with old paintings of saints and martyrs on the walls. The library was full of dusty books and manuscripts, and I spent hours reading. But the archives were what really interested me. By the third night, my curiosity got the better of me. I waited until it was late, grabbed my torch, and picked the lock to the archive room. The air inside was thick and stale, heavy with the smell of old books. One book stood out: Confessional Records, 1893. I opened it and was shocked by what I read. The nuns had written accusations against each other: cruelty, theft, even poisoning. One name appeared more than the others: Mother Superior Eloise. The entries described her as ruthless, obsessed with purity, and dangerous. Suddenly, I heard a noise. I turned and saw Sister Agnes standing in the doorway, her face filled with anger. "You've gone too far," she said. Before I could explain, two younger nuns grabbed me. They dragged me to a small, damp room and locked me inside. Hours later, Agnes came in with a tray of bread and water. "You shouldn't have come here," she said. "Some truths are dangerous." "What happened to the Sisters of Divine Vigilance?" I asked. She hesitated. "They didn't disappear. They were killed by their own Mother Superior." I froze. Why? She believed they had strayed from God's path. She poisoned them all during a feast, then drank the poison herself. I stared at her, horrified. "But why are you still here?" "We are the descendants of those who escaped," she said. "We protect her legacy." Her words didn't make sense, but I started to see the truth. The convent wasn't a holy place. It was a cover for something much darker. Over the next day, I overheard whispers and saw strange movements in the shadows. The nuns weren't just descendants. They were criminals, using the convent to hide their illegal activities. When I confronted Agnes, she smiled coldly. "You're clever," she said, "but that will cost you." Before I could respond, the younger nuns dragged me to the basement. It was full of crates containing stolen artifacts, relics, and other illegal goods. "This is your truth," Agnes said. "Now you can die with it." They tied me to a chair, but I managed to cut the ropes with a shard of glass and escape in the chaos. I ran through the night until I reached the nearest town and called the police. The convent was raided the next day, but the nuns were gone. They left behind crates of evidence, but no sign of where they had fled. Even now, I think about that place. It wasn't ghosts or curses that haunted me, but the evil that people can hide behind masks of goodness. How many other places like St. Marcellus exist, hiding their darkness in plain sight and sometimes in the quiet moments? I wonder if the nuns are still out there, watching, waiting for someone else to uncover their secrets.